much bigger. I only know one truth. It's time for the Jedi to end.
Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick, Star Wars! Hooray! I'm excited, as you can tell. Sorry to the booth for yelling into the mic. Sorry, people at home. I'm super excited.
As you see.
Star Wars is out. I
at
wore
his
the shirts. I'm wearing the shirt of the band that I went to see. Right
cool.
on.
You are that guy.
I'm Matt. That's Alonzo. That's Christy. Star Wars: The Last Jedi hits theaters. We've all seen it, and I had a good time.
This is our non-spoiler.
Right.
review.
Non-spoilers.
So
you can watch
it's
this.
our non-spoiler review. So my non-spoiler plot description is. Watch the clip.
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down. Come on! This is not going to go the way you think. Fulfill your destiny.
We'll say this again. If you don't want to be spoiled at all and you're excited to see the movie, why are you watching this? If you want to know that the movie's good, it's good.
It's
if
great.
if you're
is
excited
terrific.
to see it, I think you're going to like it. As a longtime Star Wars fan, I've read a bunch of the books. I've been watching Rebels. I've been watching
Crunchy Fruity Rebels.
yeah, right. I've been watching Star Wars Rebels. I watched Clone Wars. One of my favorite things about this movie, look, this movie is legit good. It's very exciting. It moves along. But I love that we are 8 movies in. We've gone through season after season of the animated show. We've got a bunch of books. And we are seeing things in this movie. And I'm not just talking vehicles and set pieces. We are seeing concepts in this movie that we've never seen before in this universe. And I love it. And I want to say that. I'm trying to speak obliquely about that.
Right. Yeah.
But
No. I'm trying to be as vague as possible.
Right.
But yeah, this movie I think just sort of delivers on the sort of basic level of like there's cool dogfights and there's like character conflict and things change in a way that maybe you weren't expecting, and there are deaths and whatever. Like it doesn't just sort of vamp. Like it's moving things along. Stuff is changing. Characters are evolving. Concepts are even sort of moving along in a certain way that's really exciting. And I don't watch the shows. I don't read the books. I'm not invested in this universe as a devotee, but I watch these movies, and this movie just felt super satisfying to me in a way that I haven't been as satisfied by a Star Wars movie since The Empire Strikes Back.
And that sounds like hyperbole, right? Because every time a new one comes out,
Right.
it's like, best one since Empire, and this one probably actually is.
But do people really say that?
Yes,
Yes.
It's a total
Really?
cliche. Best one since Empire. I mean,
I've never said that
But
before.
with like Force Awakens and Rogue One, I believe that was like the refrain we kept
Oh,
hearing.
brother, okay.
Because like finally there's a great
Well,
one.
I liked Force Awakens. I didn't care for Rogue One, but I would not put either of them,
But let's put it in context, right? If we say best since, right? Because arguably up until we got
We're basically saying better than Jedi, the shitty prequels, and
Right.
the 2 new ones.
Right.
So, take that for what it's worth.
right, exactly. So when you say Force Awakens is the best one since
Empire. I guess
Empire.
it would have been
Right.
at the
Yeah.
time.
Right,
Yeah, it's
at the
probably-
time,
Now this
and
tops
then
that, yes.
I would say that I think Rogue One is slightly better than Force Awakens. I like both of those, but I think Rogue One is better. But this one,
if your complaint about Force Awakens was that it was Episode 4 with new heads, this is not Episode 5 with new
very
heads.
different.
no,
Yeah.
this
It's a
is
whole
very
other thing.
different. And what I like about this is that each of our main characters that we're excited to see get legit, honest character development. We see them, like you said, we see them
You
grow.
can call
We
them by their names.
Okay. We see.
We know who you mean.
We see Poe learn to be more than we'd seen him before. We see Finn grow as a character. We see Rey grow as a character. We see some surprising characters that we didn't really expect to necessarily grow, and there's some legit surprises in this, and that I wasn't expecting. You go into a movie like this and you think, okay, I kind of know what's going to go on, right? And part of it is like you want the satisfaction. As moviegoers, we think, okay, you kind of know what the beats are going to be, and you kind of know where the story's going to go. And I love that this goes in directions that I never saw coming. In some cases, there are actual, legit, great surprises in this, and go ahead and drink. It helps the character growth get earned. It earns the things that it does.
And it's germane, the earning.
Right.
And there's gravitas.
There's gravitas, yes.
You're all wasted at home now.
This movie's terrific. I had a great time. I'm gonna go see it again and again and again. It's better than Cats.
Yeah, so I am sort of between you guys in terms of my time and emotional investment in the Star Wars world, right?
Because you have a child.
I'm much more into it, much more knowledgeable now because of Nick. And we walked out of Last Jedi and he said to me, that was the best Star Wars movie I've ever seen. He also said, Mommy, can I have a porg for Christmas?
Pog.
Porg.
Porg. Are they
There's an
porgs?
R.
Pogs are those little flat things that
unless
they
you're
use.
from
You're right,
Boston
porgs,
and you're
okay.
calling it a
Oh yeah, I guess I
pog.
gotta, all right, I'll take my shirt
You're
off.
pucking your pug and have it, yeah. But
Even the
what I
porgs, like
loved
they
about
actually
this-
get a little bit of like.
Yes, but they are sort of gratuitously cute. They are your. If there's any like tiny marketing thing in here, it is the porgs.
Well, there's a lot of new fauna in this movie.
Creatures, they're beautiful. So what I was so blown away by, this is far and away the most jaw-droppingly gorgeous Star Wars movie I've ever seen. And I want to give props to Rian Johnson's longtime DP. His name is Steve Yedlin. He also shot Brick, he shot Looper, and Brothers Bloom, which I'm guessing will get a rejuvenated interest now and a retroactive appreciation. Rian Johnson managed to navigate the machinery of Lucasfilm and of Disney and yet bring forth a film that very much feels like him, right? There is great truth to the characters. There's a sense of humor here. It's almost as cheeky as like the Guardians movies and Thor Ragnarok. Like he wrote it and directed it, and there's that sense of humor
And yet,
is him. And
right.
so I'm really impressed.
But
by
not in a
his
way that
ability.
undercuts the
No,
the
it's
drama.
not distracting. No, it's relevant. But there are a couple of lines from a couple of characters that maybe you might not have heard them say that you hear them say now. Having said that, it's not irrelevant to who that person is. It's not.
Right.
It is germane.
Right.
Yeah.
There's some really funny stuff going on in this.
It's very funny.
But the movie doesn't lose the kind of epic, dramatic sweep, and I think that's served by the cinematography. There are,
It's gorgeous.
Especially that battle scene kind of in the desert.
Yes.
I mean, that's
the snow-covered salt planet.
Yeah, and the thing that Rian Johnson is so good at, this is a long movie. It's 2.5 hours long, but it's paced really well.
Yeah, it never feels like a butt ache.
And he will hold a shot like that. The beginning of that battle that you're talking about, and we'll go into more detail, of course, in our spoiler review. But he will hold a shot and let you luxuriate in the space and the use of color and
the objects in the frame.
and the tension that quiet moment of it taking a breath creates, and that I feel is really his contribution, and how it's not just like you're a cog in the Lucasfilm machinery. There's a filmmaker at work here.
I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the kind of mind-blowing things about the original Star Wars is that concept of a used future, right? Like one of the things that makes Star Wars A New Hope so grounded is that things look dilapidated and look used, and there
was rust.
There's rust and you felt that there was some age and kind of used to them. Decay. And so I feel like Rian Johnson as a director is one of the first directors who's come in and really built on that. In that, okay, yes, things are kind of run down and there's a sense of history to the place. And he's going to use that in letting these shots linger so that you can soak in those details. And it ends up immersive in a way that I think that we haven't seen from some of the other films. And you see that on the island, you see that on that salt planet, you see that in a lot of places. And it's it all becomes part of what makes this movie so great. Coupled with the action is terrific.
It is
oh
thrilling.
God,
right?
yes.
I mean,
There's one lightsaber duel. Holy shit! It is
Yeah.
for the ages.
Yeah,
it is
right?
like beautifully choreographed, and again, how it frames
yeah,
that.
and the dog fights
Yeah.
in space I think are really great. I have a quibble.
Quibble at me.
There is a new character here that I think is not used particularly interestingly, who feels like a fan avatar, and who I would say all the people that complained about Rey in the first movie and how she seems sort of stuck in and suddenly far too good at things and blah 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 blah.
Well, she has the Force.
I didn't buy it. I bought that character. I was
Right.
fine with her, whatever. This new character, I think a lot of those arguments might kind of apply to.
Well, let's talk about that more in the spoiler.
Yeah.
edition. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. People, I want to say, people who say that Rey's a Mary Sue, because she's not.
She's a badass.
I could see where you're going with Rose, like, yeah, but I think it works for what is happening with Finn. I think you need someone in that space for where Finn is going. I think yeah.
My one quibble is I feel like it maybe drags a tiny bit narratively in the middle. Like there are 3 different storylines that he is bouncing between, and I don't know that they move along as much of a clip as they could to get the momentum increasing.
There's a little meanwhile going on, but it didn't throw me.
That's the only thing I have a quibble about. I don't have a quibble about that character. I know who you're talking about, and I like that inclusion of that character, and it felt
I like
necessary
the idea
and
behind why
relevant.
that character's there, but I didn't feel like the execution was great.
But I think that is all part of a piece of the idea of this ragtag band of outsiders who come together to overthrow things for the greater good, and she is a crucial piece to that and makes sense to me in a way that is relevant and necessary.
Fair enough.
And we'll go into this in the spoilers, but there's some new cast members here that we will recognize that I think turn in some great performances that I was really happy with. So they're in the cast list.
I don't think this counts as a spoiler. Carrie Fisher is great in this movie, and we walk in obviously with our own feelings about her and her not being here anymore. But even that aside, even if she were alive today, that would still be, I think, one of the best performances and the most that she's been given to do, arguably, in any of these films.
Yeah, you feel the weight of the years on her in terms of her experience and her perspective and her judgment. And it is very sad when you see her, but also kind of lovely to have that send off. Yes.
Right, and that there's a moment, again, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's that moment where in the screening you and I were in, everybody cheers that she has. There's a Leia moment where everyone just kind of flips out and cheers.
There are lots. Okay, this is not a spoiler. There are a lot of moments that like the entire theater will cheer.
Yeah.
It sounds super corny, but like there are moments that are just like communal and rousing, and just you're gonna get pumped when they happen.
For sure.
It sounds dorky.
All right, so scores?
My score is an 8.8.
8.8.
You guys are haters. It's a 9.
Two away from you. So we are at
You know what?
8.9.
Actually, I might be too low. I'm going to go up. I'm going to go 9.5.
Ew.
Okay, well that is 31.
We're a 9.
Okay,
We're 9.
We're a 9, and
We're a
I
9.
don't know where it is in the tomato meter.
Don't care.
I think it's super high. I think it's super high.
Is this the one where they're holding off until they can announce it on Facebook?
I don't think so. I doubt it.
No, there's a number.
There is a number,
okay. Yeah, but again, like if you don't want to know anything, don't read any reviews.
Right.
Just trust us to tell you you should go see it.
Yes.
Bye.